すごいよね。スカーナージャックス取らなくてもオーロラの方がティアが高い。スカーナージャックスって取れる。DK からしたら狙ったトレードなんだよな。で、ジャックスにナーがいなくて、ランブルもいなくて。でも369からしたら加算定できるから、加算定そうだよね。バンされる前に取りたい。ジャングルはノクターンかなこれ。ウーコンはノクターン。ダメージが欲しいからね。DPS が出るジャングラーがいい。DK からしたらこれミッドどうすんねん問題だよな。ルブランがこれで出せたらいいんだけど。あ、ジャオでもいいね。まあオリアナ無難。オリアナだった気がするけど違ったっけ。オリアナが無難だよ。まあちょっとレル見せたあたりミッド悩んでるよな。答えが出てない感じする。取らない。あ、これで見るんだ。敵の番を。敵がきついオーロラに対面できついミッドレーン誰かを見るんだね。BO3 らしいよな、ここで見るって。レル取ったし、ポッピーとアリスター消したいけど、サイラスという選択肢が残ってるからアリスターは消したくないんだよ、DK からすると。ポッピーだけど消すかな。うん。相手がアリスター取ったらサイラスが残ってるから、取らなきゃいけないのは AD で、あ、サイラス消した。はい、これでアリスター消してねって言われてる。いや、困ったね。すごい TS うまいんだよね。すごいバン困ってる。エズリアルを取るってやっぱ前提でやってたんだろうけど。まあ、カリスタか。これでアッシュ、バルス。ジンはちょっと苦しい。アッシュバルス。アッシュが一番ティア高いかな。で、アッシュバンかな。あ、カイサ。あ、確かにカイサもあったな。カイサの方が確かに溶かしやすい。ADC でダメージがいる。まあけどアッシュしかない気がするけど。足取ったらでもダメージがな、陣出せばいいと思ってるだろうし。見る。TS からしたらアッシュ出してもいいけど、まあでも、どうするかね。陣でもいいし、TS は。陣アッシュエズ。うん。アッシュはそのなんだっけベタ足だけど入ってきて倒せなかったら逃げられないんだよね。うわブラウムこれぶっ刺さってるわ。ジャックスが入ってきてジャックスがアッシュを倒せなかったら倒すしかないみたいな。それがすごい強い。ジャングルもトップもダメージが出るじゃん TS の構成って。シンジャオもカサンテもダメージが出る。レルなんかもう絶対逃げられないからね。アッシュがいる相手に飛び込んでアッシュ倒せなかったら。ジグスは絶対ダメージが足りない。モルダ微妙だけどやるんだ。 陣でいい気がするけど、陣だと死んじゃうとかせないってなんかカサンテと。4コアまでいけばね、IE 入ればダメージも出るんだけど。まあ結局オンヒットビルドにすればいいだけだから、クラーケンが強いから。スタティックシブとか。画質がマックスじゃない気がする。マックスだったわ。モルダーだからスワップするでしょう。something that we've seen multiple times before. We're probably not going to pay much attention to that top side of the map. Bot lane, I'm expecting top esports to have that early push, and in the mid lane, I'm expecting it to go in the favor of Showmaker. The thing about these junglers, though, is that Lucid's going to prioritize just full clearing on the Skarner, and as we talked about the swap, you'll notice that aiming is making his way up towards the backside of the jungle, heading towards that top lane, meaning that we're likely going to see the traditional form of the lane swap, but you can see top esports reading the play. They're already moving into the bot side enemy jungle, leveraging the みんなスワップ慣れた？どう？ but also likely expecting this lane swap to come through. Exactly. They'll use the sweeper. They'll find have run a duel. スワップで一番最初にするべきことは敵のジャングルを追い出す。特にウルフから追い出すことがめっちゃ大事。ウルフから追い出さないと7キャンプ確定されちゃうんで敵に。今もうそれが定石化しててウルフ狩る人いなくなったけど、このウルフスタートするっていうのが大事。お互いに。で、ジャングルが3キャンプと同時にミニオンをタワーに入れる。これはやってしまいました DK さん。終わった。ゲームが終わりました。もうこれで。モハン何やってんのマジで。
So, to talk a little bit more about DK, they have some very interesting stats that we're going to bring up here as far as the gold leads throughout different times in the game that I think are very indicative of their level of performance. Incredible early game.
1レベルと2レベル、どっちからでもいいよこれ。レルからでいいかな。お、2になったでも一応。ジャックスからもうかワンモア。終わった。ゲーム終了。このウェーブの経験値をするかどうかが鍵だから。金言強引に入ったけど。369 Mako and Jackie Love want to try to deny even more here if they can. Kingen popping the counter strike, staying alive for now. Nice two-man stun coming out, but Kingen down about 50 HP, still staying alive somehow. But the volley is live. Top esports. Kingen もうまかったけど。They forced out the counter strike initially, and then as soon as Kingen has that counter strike down, they flash forward, they chase after him to go for that redive. And it was first blood that did go to DK, but Kingen trying to get back that tower. ジャングルのランダム性を減らしたいから。
You can see a good job there by Moham being able to peel, being able to keep them locked up under that tower to be able to get first.
ジャングルのランダム性。
And Kingen decides, he's going to try to go for this, but this is very risky. You get tagged by the auto from Mako, and then the Q follows it up and procs that Braum stun. He's already so low.
Yeah, at this point, he's trying his best to leverage the counter strike.
ちょっとよくわかんないですね。
Reading the stun that's going to come through from Kingen, and he's able to sidestep it, and then they manage the tower aggro beautifully. So top esports find 2 kills. They're happy ultimately with how the play works out. They deny a lot of farm.
純粋に純粋な話をしよっか。じゃあこのマッチアップでスワップをしなかったらどうなるか。DK 側がこのマッチアップで 仮に。ボット主導権取れませんね。100% 取れませんね。このマッチアップは。だって、アッシュとブラウムに対してレルスモルダーってもう絶対取れないでしょ。で、しかも、ジャングル死んじゃうっすよ。ってことは、死んじゃおは上からジャングルスタートして下側行って敵のジャングルに入るかどうかの選択肢ができるんで、で、そこでスカーナーが追い出されたらゲーム終了するんですよ。TK は。ジャングルのランダム性とかじゃない。もう純粋にレーンの主導権がないからジャングルが死ぬから。で、スモルダーは涙を積みたいんですよ。ジグスとかもそうだけど、400ゴールドでリコールして涙を積んでレーニングしたいんです。だからトップレーンにスワップすれば400ゴールド持った状態でレーンに復帰できるじゃないですか。レーナーを守るというよりジャングルを、いや、ゲームが終了する。ジャングルを守るとかじゃなくてもゲームが終わる。ゲームにならなくなるからスワップする。the Q follows it up and procs that Braum stun, he's already so low.
Yeah, at this point, he's trying his best to leverage the counter strike, but Mako with a great flash there, reading the stun that's going to come through from Kingen, and he's able to sidestep it, and then they manage the tower aggro beautifully. So Top Esports find 2 kills. They're happy ultimately with how the play works out. They deny a lot of XP, and crucially, they get a kill onto 369 to help funnel more golden resources into him as well.
Yeah, and it's always painful, you know, for Kingen when you use your TP prior to a dive like that. You know, the TP's down, and you do get punished pretty heavily as a result. Mid lane though, quietly going slightly in the favor here.
ここでそもそも DK は戻さないの謎だけどね。
Jungle has really just been lucid farming it up here. You know, he is about that 1.5 camp ahead here at this point. Now gets another camp.
Yeah, exactly. He wins a little bit of a smite battle there for the Wolves as again he's invaded by TM.
かわいそう。金言かわいそう。戻すべきなのに。
Still healing up thanks to the potion. Back underneath the safety of the tier 1 turrets. TN still hanging around, but Lucid is also here farming up his own Grom.
トップレーンに本当は行ってトップレーンがプッシュじゃなくてフリーズっていうかプルウェーブだから全然ファームできたのにスモルダーが残りすぎてゲームが壊れてる。ボットレーンこれウェーブめっちゃ消えるよ。シーンまで稼ぎたかったらしいスモルダーが。もうボットレーン終わってるこれ。ベリーハッピーって解説も言ってるけどジャッキーラブからしたらもうウハウハですねこんな。6000個確定すんじゃないのこれアッシュ。ポットガンク見れるよ。
He has a Sheen, he has a Tier, he's at a pretty good point in the game, so he's now happy to be matching up against this Ashe, and him and Moham will be heading out towards bot. They're being covered by Lucid, and they should be able to fix this wave no problem, but we can see Jackie Love already is starting a bit of a slow push here for himself.
あ、でもこのウェーブで6になんないんだったら意味ないな。あ、来るんだって感じ。これ来るんだって感じ。
Top Esports, rather than setting up for a freeze, they ran the risks of, okay, a swap is going to come through. If they have a stacked wave and they get it underneath this tower, they're going to dive us. So let's thin the wave, push it as quickly as possible, and then reset, spend the gold. But regardless of that, DK still found a window to find a gank. There was no vision in that tri-brush. Lucid was able to get close enough, and they knew that Mako had no flash. So just like that, D plus clear.
まあまあまあまあ、これでスモルダーは美味しい思いをしたが、結局アッシュの方が6000個が確定しているので問題はない。逆にスモルダーからしたら結構きついけどね、あそこでガンク入れるの。
And you've also got to say, Jackie Love now has to be careful for the next couple of minutes. Did lose his flash, obviously got out. It was Mako that
ブラウムがウェーブ止めたら理想的だけど、ボットレーン。おー、止めた。でかい。
Even if you have the cleanse available, it's not necessarily going to matter.
So scary for a champion with no inbuilt defenses, no inbuilt, utility for escaping, other than just kiting a guy so he never reaches you in the first place. Bit of a problem though with all of that engage, all of that gap closing potential there. 3 minutes until their next set of grubs, 4 minutes until the next Drake, so not entirely synced up, but still pretty close. Moham flashing out of the way as the arrow from Jackie Love immediately flies out, forcing the summoner spell from the DK support. One more auto attack will also proc those concussive blows, and aiming now down to about 1/3 life.
Now, Jackie Love as a player has evolved a lot away from this idea of the hyper-aggressive, trading his life for kills type of moniker. He's become a lot more consistent, and I think that was a great example of the controlled aggression that you often see from Jackie Love and Mako. As a bot lane, they still like to...
うわーきつボットレーン
go for those aggressive trades, and they recognize their strength. They know you're still a Smolder. How are you going to fight back against an Ash Braum? And they just walk up, leverage the level 6 that Jackie Love has. They force Moham out, and then they get a really nice trade onto aiming, forcing him back. So even though he loses his flash, Jackie Love still actually not
DK どっから勝つんだろう。これジャックスを育てるしかなかったんだけどな。マジで金元ただただかわいそう。この試合は金元何も悪くない。ただただかわいそう。これアイスボンガンブレットできたらカサンテがソロキルするチャンスなので。めっちゃプレッシャーかけてるやん、スモルダーに。死んじゃうボットサイドに移った。移った上にしかもこっからさらにボットサイドなんだよな。ずーっとボットレーンタワー削れるぞこれ。both top lane and bottom lane colliding the waves into the turrets like they are, you're getting plenty of early value there. 上確定した。ああ、でもボイドグラブ取りに行くんだ、ちゃんと。いじめ抜いてもいいけど。
Nice shot there from Jackie Love, forcing a flash out of Showmaker.
And now they're going for the swap up to top side, knowing that the grubs are spawning in about a minute. Good timing for them as they can allow that bot wave to be pushed in. They can even put some pressure on.
まあでもそうか、グラブ取ったら6か。それは取りに行くか。スノーボールする上でスモルダーのゲームになる前にゲームを終わらせたいから、グラブ6取った方が強いか。しかもアッシュの方が今強いし、ジャックスも戦えないし、スモルダーも戦えないし、オリアナも戦えない。どうすんだ DK これ。手がない。
And then over on the other side, it's only Jackie Love's flash that is down, but it'll honestly be coming right back up around the time that they've been wanting to contest for those grubs. So things are looking pretty good for top esports around that area. Mako and Jackie Love now also just going to grab even more money from these plates. 10.5 minutes into the game, you can see on the left side of your screen, it's Jackie Love, 200 gold out in front of anybody else.
You can see King head down towards bots. They're going to try to overload this side of the map. They're going to try to look to farm a lot of these plates. So this is signifying I don't think they're actually going to contest here at the grubs, and we'll see if it's going to be an immediate start for top. They're already going to be able to get on top. They will win the race, and top just playing the map really, really well.
Overall, I think top esports have just been playing the better macro game than DK have in the laning phase, and you'll see the little pink bars underneath the champion icons. Look at 369, a half a level up from Kingen, and that's just come from him moving around the map, being at the right waves at the right time, and Kingen has kind of been playing catch up a little bit, as top esports have been the proactive ones when it comes to moving around the map.
Oh, another pause and looks in his middle. You not talking I would kind of look at a 3-item breakpoint here. You know, if DK are able to get their carries to 3 items and they're within a couple.
まあ金元からしたらでもレーン長くなった方がファームはしやすいけどね。
Those well executed fights, I think they are significantly favored at that point in the game.
ジャックスだし。ただアイスボンガンドレットできてたらカサンテの前にあんま立ちたくないからさっさとプッシュしてどっか行ってを繰り返さなきゃいけない。ボットタワーしかも取れなかったんだ DK。 これきついな。
All right, so as we go forward, then we'll keep in mind those big item breakpoints alongside the fact that DK's got to keep things a little cleaner than they have so far in the tournament from what we've seen.
こうやってやっぱ冷静に見ると DK 結構なんか甘い。
For top esports, 12.5 minutes in, there is that full second set of grubs that went the way of top as well as soon as we unpaused the game. The second Drake is live. The first
モーハムがレベル1でボット行ったり、スモルダーが涙とシーン買うまでトップレーンに居座ったり。
have right now is just the strength of their bottom lane. The fact that they can get prio pretty much wherever they move on the map is allowing top esports a lot of control around these towers and these neutral objectives. The fact that they secured the 6 grubs, the only reason why they're down a Drake right now is because they traded the grubs in favor of the dragon, and now again they've leveraged their bot lane to secure that objective, and they're going to bring that bot lane back into the
アクションチャンスキャノンウェーブです。しかもミッドの主導権がある。ボットダイブを見てますが、コントロールワードに心情が引っかかった。ダイブするぞこれ。ああ、そうだよね。そうだよね。そうだよね。うん、ちょっとうまくいかなかった。まあまあまあ、でもこれがキャノンウェーブってやつですよ。
So DK, has been one of the best early game teams at the tournament. They have really struggled in those later stages, as Lucid gonna have to run away here, and did in fact go hard seal, by the way.
うまいね、TS さん。
When you do go aftershock, almost always people are going more.
お手本みたい。今のガンクも。これすごい競技シーンを見る上で大事なポイントになるんで見とくといいけど、ミッドキャノンウェーブじゃん。で、ミッドの、チャンス見て、正面から下がったでしょ。で、主導権、ウェーブさっさとプッシュして主導権取ったら、オーロラがこれフリーになるんですよ、先に。で、ボットに寄って、ここでだいぶチャンスなんですよね。ちょっとアローが当たってれば、もうちょっと体力削れてだいぶまで生きてただろうけど、でこれもキャノンは処理してたけど、本当はさっきのこのボットがここのウェーブか、ここのウェーブで本当はキャノンが残っとくのが理想なんですよね。キャノンさえ残ってればだいぶできる。だいぶしてタワー取ってはできる。やっぱ中国こういうのすごい綺麗にやるよね。もうなんかもう理想的な競技シーンのマクロみたいな。
I mean, I can understand taking the aftershock sometimes with the big health stacking build as well, since you're just building these items that give you such insane health pools but no resistances, having that extra
終わったくせえこれ。もうギブだこれ。
I mean, if you missed those, then I guess why did you take the thing in the first place? But bottom lane tier 1 turret in some serious trouble now as a little bit more damage gets it done.
行くんだそれ。勝てなくね？
Immediately trying to make the fight happen in the 2v2. Meanwhile, the jungler fight off to the side ain't gonna matter because Moham is already dead. The arrows fly and DK dies. Top esports picking up 3 as Showmaker and Kingen tried to join up to help.
キンかわいそう。これでテレポート使わされられるのめっちゃかわいそう。ボットのミスでせっかくジャックス取ってるのにこの状態でファームさせてもらえないのかわいそうすぎる。マジでミスだなこれボット。いやそっからじゃねえだろ。
I mean, I can understand
そうだろう。
taking the aftershock sometimes with the big health stacking build as well, since you're just building these items that give you such insane health pools but no resistance.
これがマジ終わったな。実家発動で。アッシュなんでね。
As Showmaker and Kingen tried to join up to help everybody else, but now they're in a bad spot too. Even matter, man. Showmaker is going nowhere fast. Top esports, turret +4.
Top esports, again, just wisely play through their bot lane. They know that they're the strongest part of the map right now. They set up a siege onto the bot tower, and DK say, we're going to try and hold this. We're going to defend. We think we're strong enough to try and fight you. Azale talks a lot about the scaling elements, but DK saying, we feel we're strong enough to fight now, and they are not.
And DK just waited too long. I mean, Moham, I think it's a good idea as the many waves.
モーハンとエイミンがなんか合ってないね。エイミンは 草むら、手前の草むらのブッシュが怖くて、左上にしか立てなかった。ここが怖くて。だから足のダブルを2回食らっちゃった。で、レルはリバーのブッシュを取ろうとして、取らなくていいのに取ろうとして、ブラウムにハラス受けて、結局取れずダイブされて死ぬっていう。
3.5 minutes ago, we were looking at a game state where the neutral objectives were 1-1. Top Esports was about to
しょうがないよな。初 WCS だもんな、モハム。夏からだし。
It's a 4,500 gold lead. It's a massive advantage for Top Esports having secured the Rift Herald now as well. And it feels like D+, their chances are just disappearing in a flash.
Absolutely. I mean, you're getting completely choked out off the map at this point in the game. It is going to be so hard. And it just becomes a nightmare. Like, Grubs is sometimes really valuable, sometimes not. But when you're already really ahead, it becomes so
ちゃんとキャノンでヘラルド出すんだよ。
This is going to be 12 Void Mites popping out of this thing. It's like a clown car of Void Mites running out there.
King is jumping in though with a counter strike for the engage. Tien is low. Top Esports are going between worlds. Tien gets away, and a massive amount of damage pours into the DK lines. Jackie Love grabbing the first.
オーロラ OP。
Lucid jumps over the wall, but all DK can do is run. Top Esports are that far ahead.
Tien played that flawlessly. Bear in mind, he has no flash. He gets engaged on from a flanking Kingen. He then gets Skarner ulted underneath the tower, and patiently what he does is he ults, knocks, I think it was the Jax back, and then he uses that as like a bandwagon to then get back to his team to then turn the fight around. Just keep track of Tien in the fight, because as the initiation starts, they catch him coming out of the Rift Herald. They say this is an opportunity to fight. He then gets jumped on by Kingen. He's then going to get dragged underneath the tower. All of the CC's thrown onto him. A nice Ash arrow provides for this face. Then look at that. The ulti onto the Jax allows him a getaway vehicle, and they turn a kill back onto Mohan.
Exactly. If you haven't hit someone, that Crescent Guard does knock back, so he doesn't hit the Jax, knocks him back.
キンジャオの R もインチキだけど、オーロラの R も結構インチキだね。
Knew he was going to be in some danger after driving it in, but Crescent Guard is so powerful in these situations. If you can just get aiming and Showmaker outside of that, they can't do anything to you.
Masterfully maneuvered.
金言ファームしよう。
Towards jungler in what looked like should have been a death sentence with that collapse. But the only thing collapsing now is DK's chances in this game. Still 4,500 gold down. There is another Drake live, but it's not going to stay that way for very long. Top Esports are already on it. There is no contest for DK. They know
これ OP だから。コミュニティがブチ切れてたね。ヨネがクソ OP なのになんでバフすんねん。どういうことやねん。
Looking for that tier 2. It does survive for now, but that thing is about to go down to these Void Mites. That's 700 gold in the pockets of Cream there, which now puts him ahead of Showmaker. That was the only person we saw the gold breakdown that was ahead for DK, and now he no longer is. Ash was already on 2 items, before Aiming completed his 2, so they couldn't really look to fight. At this point, you're basically sitting back. You're praying that Aiming can actually get these stacks fast enough that you can maybe make something happen, but he's only at 147. He is very far away from that 225 break.
ドラ1個取れてるのがマジ DK 救いだな。お、いい。入った。うわー、オーロラ OP。
DK's side as Cream gets popped, but Moham still getting away with only 100 HP. Lucid's here on the front line, has to try to flash to get out of it. The Impale's going to be flashed back by Tien. As DK, they trade even, and that's about the best they could ask for.
It's a 1-for-1, but the player I want you to just stay focused on is Jackie Love, because they threw everything at him. Kingen was diving on top of him, the Shockwave was there as well, the Skarner was following up, and it still didn't even get his flash.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. It's crazy. The confidence that he has in these situations to just hold on to the flash. He really knows how much damage he can take, the limits he can play towards. It's pretty incredible stuff as Kingen came around on that corner and you think, okay, he is definitely in trouble there as he gets hit by the shockwave. He's knocked back, but he kites out. Mako is blocking well for him. Tien is turning and peeling, and they just focus down Kingen. While on the other side, yes, Cream does go down, but Cream uses the ultimate to make sure that the rest of DK can never follow up. It's really well played there.
And credit to Mako too, the use of the heal as also just like that extra summoner spell that you often don't think of. Like Mako, I mean the bot lane's just having an incredible game, and I think that
Q のクリティカルを Q のクールダウンを AS じゃなくてクリティカル依存にする。
struggled to get out of groups. They've had performances that you don't expect from them. But so far at this tournament, they've been playing at a very high level. We've seen their early games be incredibly strong, very consistent. Tian alone has been having a great game. His presence has been felt all across the map. But this bot lane in particular is really standing out.
いや、てかオーロラのせいでアッシュまで届かないんだよね。アッシュに届きそうだったのに、オーロラの R で、ブラウム死んじゃおうアッシュやべえなマジで。ずーっと CC ロックじゃん。これセジュアニでも一緒だったんだろうけど、セジュアニだと多分ダメージが足りないんだよな。アッシュの装備が整うまで。まあだから死んじゃおうなんだろうけど。ブラウムマジでいいな。もうちょっとブラウムピックされないからレボル君と話してたんだけど、ブラウムがかなり強いメタになってる気がするっつって。スワップゲームの時も相手のジャングル入りやすいレベル1最強だから。で足りないダメージも補えて、足りない CC も補える。
The counter strike isn't going to block enough. Not here, not now, no way, not yet. Kingen is down, and Cream's getting a payday.
Yeah, he wanted them. Wasn't going to let him get away that easily. You've been chasing him for a while, so they get the kill on the
レッドバフが入んなきゃな。
Tier 1 mid back, and it is an objective bounty, so it's a little bit of an injection of gold there. But Top have everything they need, I feel like, at this point to be able to close this one out.
You know what else is an injection of gold? Baron.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot. There's going to be a lot more gold being injected here soon from Top Esports, who are just in complete control of this game. 45 seconds until the next Drake spawns. You better believe there's going to be no contest for that one. They've got Baron for the next 2 minutes. All of Summoner's Rift is theirs, and DK have to just creep ever so slowly forward, patiently and methodically checking everything, or it might just be a death trap.
I think this game is just an excellent demonstration of how to play not only the lane swap incredibly well, but how to use an early advantage to snowball a game. We talked about it briefly where like 369 was getting slightly more experienced than Kingen. We talked about how they were moving Jack11 to the right lane at the right time, and just these very small things in the early game ended up building small enough advantages, but those advantages were enough when it came to the crucial moment in that bot lane TP play, because that pressure had built up to a point where DK felt like they had to do something to stop this becoming a bigger snowball. But unfortunately, that pressure, that decision has cost them so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be the ult and the heal forced out there by Mako, as he was kind of left behind a little bit from the rest of the team. You know, and they used everything you're talking about, Eddie, to create these kind of incremental advantages, but then they slammed it home with execution in dives and with execution in these 5v5s, you know, and that's really where you do create a world-class team where you can bring both of that together, where you're playing the macro well and you're playing the micro, the team fights, the individual outplays, and that has been the entire...
悩んでんすよね、ここ。T1 にするか TS にするか。
Very, very dominant in this game number 1.
And it's nice to see because in the playoffs, the upset that happened against Weibo was definitely unexpected, and I think that this was the level of play that people were expecting from Top Esports, especially after their incredibly strong performance from the regular season. And he's hoping that they can continue this as they continue through the World Championship. Of course, this is only game 1, and right now they're looking like the favorites, but we've always got to come back to that scaling element, right? And if DK can find a miracle pick, if DK can slow the game down in any way, then there are opportunities and way for them still to come back into the game.
And I love that you bring that up right now, Vedius, because we just hit the 3-item power spike for aiming with the rapid fire cannon completed alongside the Muramana and the Trinity Force. 222 stacks right now, so just a couple more, and he will be online Smolder. Now the problem is, you're staring down the barrel of a 7,000 gold lead with a soul point status.
China's macro.
It's a really, really vertical cliff to have to climb right now for DK in this game 1.
Exactly, and Showmaker is a mile away from his 3rd item, right? You know, that's another big problem.
He's got a book.
Kingen doesn't even have his 2nd item yet, right? You know, I do think you need 3 items on all these.
こういうところですよね。
Fire cannon completed alongside the Muramana and the Trinity Force. 222 stacks right now, so just a couple more, and he will be online Smolder. Now the problem is,
ここでカサンテが この後だよ。この後、引くんだよ。こうやって。ラインが合ってないから。ミッドとラインが合ってないから、ミニオン叩いちゃダメよ。ミッドがミニオン来て叩くまで叩いちゃダメよ。
Exactly, and Showmaker is a mile away from his third item, right? You know, that's another big problem. Kingen doesn't even have
DK でもチャンスだね。レーンワード壊せてないから、上側に来てるの分かってる。
Where I do think scaling can take over. They are really far behind though at this point. So DK are going to need to have some of those X Factor plays. See if they can make a miracle happen. Find an incredible shockwave. Find a multi-man Skarneralt, something like that.
Well, they're happy to see that arrow miss. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, 369 just trying to keep Kingan's attention here while the 4v4 continues up in the top lane. Without the Baron buff, though, it is easy enough, I would think, for Showmaker to be able to clear out most of these waves. Nice use of the Pathmaker from 369 to make sure that Kingan isn't getting the better of him. And when Jax is not winning the 1v1 against Cassante, you are not feeling great with the Jax at this stage of the game. Almost 26 minutes in, 3 minutes until the Hex Soul spawns for Top Esports. But even shorter, it's barely over a minute and a half until the next Baron is around. And Top have total control over Summoner's Rift.
Now the good news for DK is they have picked
best of 3.
You gotta do him like that.
Your quick wit, still sharp as ever, is that? I was going to say that Aiming is playing a champion of all time. And this champion not only has great scaling, but also exceptional waves. As our observers just highlighted for us, waves just disappear, which is why you're seeing the progression of Top Esports' offense onto the base slow down. Because the reality is that it's very difficult to siege against an Orianna and a Smolder.
一回どっかで逃してた気がするけど。
The Baron is spawning in a minute's time, and it wouldn't surprise me, like you're already seeing Top Esports do it, suffocate the vision, and you're going to force DK into a situation where you either come and fight or you concede the Baron. And in either situation, that's what Top Esports is looking for.
なんか上がれなくて、キャニオンがチーム変えないと。あ、やらかした、369。これラインが合ってない。このミニオン触っちゃいけなかったのに。触ったから死んだ。ガンクされるこれは。これやらかし。369のやらかし。完全にやらかしミニオン触り。それにさっきのウェーブに触っちゃダメよって気づけるようになったらあなたは競技士に慣れてきてる。見てる方がこのウェーブね、この状態からジャックスのミニオンウェーブにカサンテが触ってるじゃん。これがアウトです。これに気づけるようになったらあ、こいつやってるって気づけるようになるとすごい競技シーンを見てるねっていう感じ。逆にああいうウェーブ触ってて頑固いかなかったら逆にやられてる側のチームってこいつらマジ何やってんのって思うようになる。 DK はちゃんと頑固に行ったじゃん。
To what you were talking about, Vedius, it's time to set up for Baron. It's time to force DK's hand.
At the very least, not only did they get the flash there, but they actually bought time for a Moham to move in and get more vision around this area. So they got a little bit better vision. They have one ward over into the pit. That's obviously going to be swept out, but you know, this ward over by Raptor is not bad either. And DK is going to have to make that really hard choice of do we contest at Baron because you're very far down. If you lose that, it is game over. But by the same token, if you give over Baron for free, you're going to lose full map control. Your wave clear becomes much less effective, and then Top are going to have full run of the map to set up for this soul here.
Whoa.
Whoa, nice shot again. That is the second time this game that Jackie Love has shot a long-range arrow to force the flash from Showmaker.
And I feel like when he's playing it in the LPL, it's the same story. It is ridiculous how good he is at timing out these cross.
バロンプレッシャーだな。
He's so effective at it, just predicting exactly where they'll be based on the move speed. It's really impressive stuff. And now the job for DK gets very difficult. You check too far forward, you die.
そのコントロールワードが勝負ポイントですけど
Alright, Lucid does have the flashback up here on the Skarner, but he still has to be so careful. They use Mom just because they don't know if they're already on the Baron, and as soon as the Dragon sees that there's just nothing there.
DK もこれ行くしかないからな。
The power of paranoia is very effective, especially at the high level, because as smart as you are and as good as you are at League, the reality is that you can't see into the fog of war, and so you need that information. It's crucial. On top
うわ、レンワード消せてない。
starting the Baron, they'll like hit a ward,
怖っ。
back off a little bit, you know, and they're just like,
怖っ。これミッドプッシュしてバロンかドラゴンかっていうの考えてるけど。
those pedals where you're just putting that bits of pressure on to force DK.
そうだよね。
DK were actually, pinging heavily over onto the Dragon. They're trying to get the inside track, but they've given up full prio in mid lane, and Kingen is not with
ジャ
them.
ックスの TP できる場所一応あるか。
This is probably the game being decided right here.
Alright, it's soul fight time.
もうここ勝負だ。225溜まってる。ヘクスだから絶対取られちゃダメ。ほんと卑怯。オーロラがミスった。多分初めてミスったオーロラが。プレッションスマイト最強。
trade favoring Top Esports as the remaining 4 men head back over to the Baron pit.
Top Esports crucially got the kill onto Lucid. With the jungler gone, the smite is gone. T plus Kia played a good fight. It was slow, it was patient, they leveraged their range, they got a good front to back. But when they overchase, that's where the Ashe becomes deadly, as she was able to use that kiting prowess and re-engage to turn the fight in Top Esports' favor.
Yeah, it just becomes so difficult, and now the Baron is going to be secured here by Top. Cream was not very effective on that flank. They were able to turn on him, burst him down pretty easily. His ultimate actually only connected on Lucid, unfortunately. He was looking for this big backline.
いや、まあでも DK はしょうがないって。ルシドとモハムがワールド初ルシドは2年目確か1年目だよな。マジでオーロラミスった。珍しい。クリームが唯一ミスったシーン。多分R でもうちょっと超えられるはずだったのに、ここ引っかかってんのめっちゃおもろいでしょ。オーロラ。ダブル R っつったら引っかかってんの、壁越えられてないの。ナーフの影響です。200レンジアルティメットが短くなったせいで壁が越えられなくなりました。残念。
Was still there to be able to finish him off, and it's from this point, as you say, Eddie, that the gold kind of starts to really show.
Yeah, once you kind of overchase in a sense towards an Ashe, especially with a Braum there, Braum lands a single Q, the passive then gets applied, and Ashe is like, right, okay, I know this combo pretty well.
Once you're in, you don't get out.
Yeah, pretty much, and the power of the Freljord ends up becoming very proficient there. So Top Esports, they secured the Baron. That's the objective that they need. They didn't get the soul, so D plus Kia at least have a small positive. But now the siege will come through, and that wave clear that DK have is going to be less effective.
Yeah, Lucid may have died, which gave over the Baron, but he
フラッシュがないから一音でタワーを折ろうとしてるね。
give that Hex Soul, so at least you can count that as a silver lining. But Top Esports are barreling down top lane now. You can see they've still got 369 over in mid for the split.
ジャックスがゾニャができたら一応ファイトなんですけど、まずい。まずい。これカサンテが下から上に上がってきたらまずい。あ、上がってきた。終わった。
Tier 3 here at the top side, it's already gone. Moham and Lucid going to be taking a lot of damage as Moham's about to be killed. Lucid gets away back underneath the Nexus turrets. Moham's still alive somehow. Top Esports haven't lost a man, and the Skarner's also down. 3v5 for DK. Top Esports claim their first inhibitor. They claim 2 inhibitor turrets. They get everybody out, and 369 is ready to retreat and teleport back into the fight.
Yeah, Eamon got a lot of members over on the top side really low, but he just couldn't actually finish them off, couldn't chase in to be able to get those kills, and now the job gets so difficult, the TP's coming back in.
All right, Top Esports want to end it right here. First Nexus turret and second, both dropping at about the same speed. Kingen wants to keep these guys away with a counter-strike, but it ain't going to do enough. Both turrets already dead. 369, tanking it up on the front line as Kingen...
でもチーム事情はチームにしか分かんないことがあるから。